this is the Rastafari Samurai, never leaving you dry in your eye. I prove this message nationwide. You don't know, people, how the thing set, how the thing go, how we flow. We have a special guest today, and that is the one and only Maloney.
Hey. Yo. Your host, Sean Myrie, up in the building, live and direct. We got a special guest, not just any guest, right? Because when you come into the studio, D2E, you know you're special. Hey. And then we got the one and only Maloney. What are you saying, brother?
What's good, my G's? How you doing?
Yeah, man. It's been a long time coming. You know, we've been doing the online thing from the COVID times and after. Now, really in the studio, we would call Maloney alumni.
Hey.
Alumni.
Yes, sir. Yes,
D2E right now.
Man, it's been, I love watching what you guys been doing, man. And I know we were saying it off camera, but like I ran into Samurai Thursday at a joint out here in Scarborough we were doing for Price. So it's like, you know, you guys are always active. You're always in the scene. Like, you know, I swear to God, I see you guys, like, me and Samurai go back, right?
Yeah.
From Governor, doing the peanut box joint. Or what, is that what we call it? Peanut punch. Peanut punch, yeah. Yo, that video's gone too.
I know. What happened to it? I'm like looking for it, man.
He must have yanked it.
I was like, what the hell? I've been looking for it for a long time, man.
Yeah, you produced it, right?
Yes. I did the beat and everything.
And you did the video. Yeah.
I was like, what the hell, man? I have to like look in my archives and see if I could really find it again.
You yourself been putting in work for a long time. I recognize your work from you've been doing with Breaking Records.
Yeah.
And I was saying, who's this? Like, check this. We're talking about White Tupac. We're gonna get into that. That's his recent single. He has a catalog, but you're also a radio personality, a host for the culture. If you want to talk about hip hop, anybody you want to talk about grassroots hip hop, Maloney is it, right? And he's a great artist. But this is one thing I recognize, and I'm saying, Sean Myrie, no filter. You have interviewed legends.
Yeah.
Legends in the game, in the industry where nobody, and I can say this, no one in Canada who's involved in urban music media have interviewed yet.
Yeah, there's for sure there's a list of legends from hip hop culture.
Shit.
that I can say that unless we go back to like maybe Much Music days, that I'm probably the only Canadian platform to have interviews with. And there's some that like
have like one or two, but I've seen
some that have one or two, but like I don't think that there's any other Canadian platform that has, I don't know, I could be wrong, but an interview with DMC from Run DMC.
But that's just one. I'm saying you have a selection of them.
Yeah, I know
that's the whole key.
And I think the other thing is too, right? Because a lot of these platforms, I mean, with the internet, it's a little different now, right? Like since COVID, like you were kind of mentioning, it kind of forced media people to reevaluate what they're doing, right? Because doing in-person content wasn't really available. So I think that's opened up the floodgates a little bit more for some people. Yeah. But like I've gone to the States to do interviews, you know what I mean? And I think I used to utilize a lot a handful of promoters that I was cool with. Like I give a shout out to my man Peter Jackson.
Bless up Peter Jackson.
Give a shout out to my man Robbie G.
Bless up Robbie G.
Give a shout out to my man big shout out to my man Tom from Real Wolf.
Bless up.
Because he used to really, really stick his neck out for me and look out for me. And not to say that the other two didn't, but and James Wright, he's a publicist as well. He's played an integral role in helping us get some of our early big interviews. But I specifically say Tom kind of stuck his neck out for us because he was so impressed. Like I got actually, so it's funny how the connection came. James Wright, the publicist, who he works for Soul and Members. Like he was just behind the scenes working on their last single they dropped. But he had me do an interview with Tom after I moved out here. And he's like, yo, you know Tom Real Wolf? And I'm like, no, I can't say I do. He's like, oh, well, they want to do an interview. And I'm like, all right. And like, at the time it was at Rock Pile. I was living downtown. And I think I had like, I'm a to-do list person, right? So I always have like, a list of shit that needs to get done. and operate in that
Yeah.
way. So I'm like, fuck, I got all the shit I gotta try to get done tonight. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, all right, I'll do it though, because James asked, right? And then I start researching Real Wolf, and I'm like, yo, these guys have directed like a ton of my favorite underground videos, and I never realized it. So the interview, when we ended up doing it, it was just so organic and so like, yo, you did like, and he was so impressed by the interview because it really came from a fan perspective, right? And I think being a videographer, I don't think people typically hit you as like it's different than being hit as like a fan, right? Like because people usually fan over the music, but not the other elements of the art like that.
Yeah.
And I think that he was so impressed by that and like seeing that I'd done my research. Like I remember him saying something like to the degree like that interview, that was the best interview I've ever done. That was incredible or whatever. And he spoke highly of my interview skills for a while. And so, when he would start having artists come down, whether he was booking them for shows or whether he was doing video work with them or whatever, I'd be like, hey man, like, would you mind if like at some point while they're here, could you help me line up an interview? And he stuck his neck out for me a handful of times and put a good word in for me.
Yeah.
Like, he's the reason I got my Ill Bill interview. Like a handful of them, like and he put me in some dope rooms with some dope people, maybe even when I didn't deserve it or I wasn't ready for it. You know what I mean? But all things that kind of help.
Well, you know what?
That's the art of
You know what?
networking.
You do deserve it, man, because you get your flowers from D2E. Because there's not a lot of journalists here are talking to the greats. You know what I'm saying? Who could say they've been talking to the greats here?
Not too much.
Since much.
But that's the key to networking.
That's what I mean. Much like, back in those days, like they interviewed everybody. I mean, Master Ace, but Master T has interviews with fucking Tupac.
Exactly.
Eminem, you know what I mean? So, but in the age of like digital media, I don't think there's many platforms. Like, there's a lot of platforms that have bigger numbers than me. I think my problem was early on when I started doing Breaking Records Radio. Like, it's always been kind of a one-man show, right? Aside from interns that had come along and help along the way, it's always been basically me. Like, I write the interviews, I go do the interviews, I come home, I edit the stuff, and you know what I mean? And take care of the YouTube page. And it's like, so I've been doing everything for so long that early on, I just thought the content mattered more than the presentation, right? Which, I mean, to a degree, I still believe today. But, like, as long as I could get the content, I didn't care what as long as, if it was even just an audio recording, that was good enough.
Yeah.
And I think if I could reevaluate things and go back in the past, I would have tried to, I mean, everything's hindsight in 2020, right? But I would have tried to have maybe a little bit more, like invested in equipment earlier or something like that to just.
You know what, though? Okay, because you're talking to a fellow, like, we do the similar thing. Right now, I believe, because it's become popular, this type of media, interviewing, and these, like, with podcasts and everything, that your content will even be bigger now because of who you have, interviewed. And because you're doing new music. Let's be straight up. You're an artist too. You're an artist. So I believe all these old interviews are still new to a lot of people because they're getting reintroduced to you.
And you actually made a very, very good point there. And this is actually something that goes into the music and everything. And this is, I think because a lot of us in our generation kind of come from the pre-internet era, but we grew up in the internet. So we still have traditional ways of looking at things, and a lot of us, I think, have kind of morphed and formed from those to exist in the current state where we're not dinosaurs. But I think that a lot of us don't really realize sometimes is just very subtle things of how we view things is still it's still dictated by the age we grew up in. And one thing is, we grew up in the age of physical media. So if you dropped an album, right? And there was a song on that album, you didn't put that on another album.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't the way things moved because that was a piece of physical media you sold. So the people who are buying your stuff are typically, you know what I mean? Like, they'll go buy that album if they want it, right? But in the age of digital media, I find that people aren't necessarily so so gung ho to go check catalog. Like,
Yeah, they
like
don't want to care. They
no.
don't care about that.
if they start following you, whether you're a media company, a media a little bit more. Like if I find a new YouTube page I like and I really, really like it, I'll dig their catalog and see what else I like in there. But if I have to be like really liking the content, like you know, I've watched 3 or 4 videos in a row and I can't get enough. It's like, okay, what else do these guys got?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But a lot of times if I start like, you know, like no disrespect, but like Bag Fuel.
Yeah.
I watch like, you know, at least 2 or 3, 4 of their clips a week. I don't even think I'm subscribed to them. They're just in my algorithm.
Yeah.
But I never go to their YouTube page looking for content. I'm not that driven by it. You know what I mean? And I just use that as an example, as no disrespect. Like I was watching Bag Fuel on my way here. But what I'm saying is that in the days of physical media, you had to like, you got what you got when it came out.
Yeah.
And your only way to have more of that experience was to go buy catalog.
Yeah.
Right? You would buy, what's the past thing? You know what I mean? Like, you know, like how do I take in more of this, right? Whether it was DVDs or whether it was CDs. In the digital media, you're always being fed. So I find a lot of people come in at a starting point where their introduction is, right? So let's say White Tupac is someone's introduction to me.
Yeah.
This is where they come in.
Yeah.
95% of those people aren't going to check back catalog. The 5% who really, really like what you do, really, really, you know what I mean? And they want more and they want to see what it's all about, they will. But the rest don't. So, and this is what I'm trying, like, I think I told Samurai the other night, Thursday, I'm like, when we got to the venue, we went and shot a music video before we even came in the door. We parked and went and shot a video. The video we shot was for a song of mine that's 10 years old. And that's the whole point of saying what you're saying, is that content that you have that you've been working on your whole career, as long as it's good, we all grow as artists, but if you have a certain level of pride behind it, like, yo, this isn't dated and crap, like, you know, I know I'm nice. You know what I mean? I know anything I've created post 2013. It's interesting you brought that up today.
That's becoming a
it's
trend,
interesting you brought that up to because my brother brought up well, who was it? Juvenile. He brought an old track, right? Yeah. And he did a new video,
and it's big.
And it's big. So I'm just saying this could be a new trend.
I always said that it doesn't matter how old what they say your music is. If it's good,
as long as there's not a video for it,
I'm gonna.
As long as there's no video for it, you have the rights to the music. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing, right? And that's like, and I love what Juvenile did there. But I mean, honestly, Doggy Diamonds was doing that for rappers like 8 years ago, like the Milk This Cow video, Capadonna, you know what I mean? And did a couple other ones. And who was the other dude? Was it Jordan Tower who used to do those videos?
I'm not really sure, but I know there's some people starting to think of doing the videos.
It's not a new thing, you know what I mean? It's not been as popular. Like I don't think anybody's ever really done it the way Juvenile did it. Like they did like a budgeted music video for an old song that was a B-side hit, right? And that's kind of what like but a lot of the Doggy Diamonds Jordan Tower videos were kind of like one camera on site, no production. You know what I mean? The Juvenile videos of production. But yeah, man, it's something I actually started doing a couple years ago while I was working on in between some projects and kind of didn't have a whole lot of content to put out at the time.
But now you have some new content.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into that. Because I know you're the legend already.
I could talk all
you
day,
can go,
man.
keep going. This man been doing all types of media for years, right? But this new track, because you're an artist too, not just media. That's all types of media, but your musical media too.
Yep.
Like yourself as an artist. So you have this new track called The White Tupac.
Yes, sir.
Now I asked you before what gave you the inspiration, and I know that you love Tupac, like one of your top artists, if not the top artist of all time, right? So this is like a dedication. When I listen to it, this is a whole dedication because of the inspiration from an artist, what you really took to for your.
And if you really take it in, it's real good meditation.
Hey.
You know what I mean?
Hey.
So tell us a little bit about how did you come up with this track and writing it.
So it's a really, really, really long story, but I can try to simplify it the best way that I can. But salute to my man Cheza. If y'all know Cheza, Iceberg Society. 905. Sorry, not 905. Sudbury. But 50. What is it? 509? Man, now I'm bugging. Now I'm bugging. I know he's always repping the area code. what do they call it? Funny boy. I don't know, man. Whatever. I don't know, man. Whatever. But salute. He represents. You know what I mean? Wait, isn't Sudbury the city where they mine nickel?
I think so.
That's what it is. So that's how I get the 90 nickel.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? The 905. I confused it. My bad. But yeah, he's from Nickel City. That's what it is. You know what I mean? But he lives out here. Big up to my man Chez, Iceberg Society, all that stuff, man. We got a new crazy merch drop coming. But anyways, it's kind of, that being said, it's kind of a beautiful symphony the way it works. So I just give it to Ross. So you guys know who like Ken West is? Kenzo Ferrari used to manage the Lunchroom Poets.
I know the Lunchroom Poets,
and I think he, I don't know what his involvement is with Dre Bars, but I know he bigs Dre Bars up a lot too. I don't know if he like managed him or recorded his music for him or something, but either way, he's like a dude that I don't know. He's a very opinionated dude online. He's done, you know, and his ego kind of I think, in my opinion, his ego kind of it extends what his actual resume is. You know what I mean? Like he thinks he's like a big time dude when it's like, you've done some cool things. You know what I mean? But you know. You just act like a douchebag, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, this guy's always opinionated and shit online. And one day I'd made a post about this upcoming album I got called The Maturation. And this will tell you how long. This will tell you how long ago this was, right? This album, I made this post a little shorter than 2 years ago, right? And the album still hasn't come out. So that shows you how much time I've been putting on shit, right? And just how much I think the importance of planning is too. Like, don't just drop shit when it's ready. You make art, and sometimes you sit on that for a couple years till the time is right to drop that piece of art. But
music is advanced before its time.
Yeah, exactly. And I think everything has to make sense in the climate, right? Like the Tupac joint, it took 2 years to put that out. You know what I mean? And we'll get into that. But anyways, long story short, is this Kenzo dude. I made a post about my Maturation album, bigging it up, feeling confident, you know what I mean? Like I said, it was my Good Kid, Mad City meets my College Dropout. I said it might be the best conceptually based album created in the country in the last 10 years. You know what I mean? And this guy got mad about that and like made some like ranting posts about me and how my brand's whack and I'm a bird and this is whack and everything's whack. And, you know, you should feel this way, but you're whack, and you know what I mean? It's like,
so this is what I'm talking. This is like this rap beef shit. What's getting popular again right now?
Man, it's just
Kendrick Lamar. And,
it's just weird.
Okay, can I say something about that?
Yeah.
On the real, like, because I looked at look, I'm a hopper for life. I said this to you before, and I'm gonna say it again. When it comes to this battle beef and shit and everything, if you're not on the certain levels, then yeah, you can come and talk. But if you're below and you're trying to get something because you seen that this guy's going to the top, I'm gonna use Cannabis and LL Cool J for instance, for example. Okay, LL's the GOAT, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and Cannabis is a lyricist and all of that, right?
For sure.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's you've seen the time of his career. I need something.
Yeah.
Not true?
Yeah.
Okay, but he's at a certain level to do it. Right?
Yeah.
But if you're at not no levels, then shut the hell up. I'm sorry to say, man, I'm a devil's advocate, but shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
See, this is what I'm saying.
Well, this is the thing, right? I think there's levels to that, even in what you're saying.
Because right? you're just embarrassing yourself. Not only that, Jay-Z said it in a line. I shoot you, I'm brainless. You shoot me, you're famous. You know, what am I to do?
Yeah.
Right?
And it's true. But I think even what you're saying, right? I think there's parameters to it. Like the Simba verse that he just kind of addressed the J. Cole apologizing thing was crazy, though. And Simba hasn't quite broke that threshold yet where he should be able to talk about J. Cole.
That's why he's using, because J. Cole backed down from
but
that's why everybody's going at J. Cole.
Well, because you prove to yourself and the industry that you're not ready to defend everything you talk on record. So now you're a mark.
Well, you know what?
That's what Simba's going at him.
Well,
exactly.
it comes back. It comes back to levels. It comes back to levels. You see, them guys, they could go at it, and people will pay attention. To it. You get what I'm saying? Entertainment, right? But if you're some underground on whatever levels and stuff like that, like back in the day, the fucking little Flip verse. Who was it?
Flip verse.
fucking hated them
That's what I
motherfuckers.
see.
Yeah.
T.I.
I don't like them.
No,
I know, but the
yo.
bottom line is there are levels that people will pay attention
But
to.
check this. Everybody has an opinion. I could say I'm the best in the universe.
Yes,
That's
exactly,
me. No matter
exactly.
what, I'm feeling that I'm the best in the universe. Even if you think you say you're the best.
Yeah.
But that's to show you, to me, I'm not gonna, if someone say they're the best, that's good for them. I'm not gonna try to put my opinion in it because I just don't understand that, because if you say that you're the best, yes, you're the best.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
if I say I'm the best, I'm the best.
it's all subjective, right? But yeah, man, the whole shit though, like, so either way, this Kenzo dude, right? He's pissed off about me. Like, basically, I made a post about how confident I was in my album to piss this guy off, and this guy's like always talking about how he's this big manager dude, you know what I mean? And he's so important in the scene, and always passing off like this kind of facade. And like, he's done some cool shit. Like, you know, he used to manage my man Young Stitch. Like, you know, he managed the Lunchroom Poets and whatever his association with Dre Bars. Like, Dre Bars is a Toronto legend. You know what I mean? But I mean, aside from those things, I don't really know what his resume entails. You know, ran a studio out in, you know, Durham region or something. Anyways, and I'm not trying to disrespect the man. The man's disrespectful. So this guy makes a post triggered by my confidence, right?
Yeah.
But man, Cheza hits me. I probably shouldn't even put all this out there, but fuck it. Cheza, my bad, bro. Whatever, man.
We down to earth here, man. We down to earth, bro.
So he sends me a picture one day. He's like, yo, you pissing man's off with your confidence, eh? And sends me the screenshot. 'Cause me and this Kenzo guy I unfriended him years ago because he's annoying. You know what I mean? He's just always ranting and raving and like those are people who think their opinion is like the word of the Lord, and anyone else who disagrees is wrong. Like, they laugh at you if you you know what I mean? Like, just like arrogant people, right? I'm like, I don't like this guy, so I unfriended him. But yeah, so he sends me this message. He's like, yo, you piss man's off with your confidence. I'm like, who is it? And he's like, I'll call you later. He calls me 12 hours later, makes me wait all fucking day. Cheza calls me at like 11 p.m. Then he tells me, and he's like, yo, man, he's like, you pissing man's off out here who are supposed to be like, you know, they're supposed to be big time dudes or something, right? He's like, imagine what you'd do if you told people you're the new Tupac. And I'm like, yo, wow, that's wild. I'm like, I don't know, man. It's kind of crossing territories. That's funny as fuck, though. Yeah. And he's like, I mean, Post Malone did White Iverson. Why can't you do White Tupac? I'm like, you know why? He's like, yeah, but it ain't no different. I'm like, that's crazy. And then like the next day, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just see if we can piss some people off. Because I do like to do that. Yeah. It's another thing. Social media is great for knowing people's true intentions. Yeah, it's true. It's true. The thing is, I can post some wild shit one day and post some real shit the next day. Yeah. And at the end of the day, unless I really cross a line and offend like a large demographic of specific individuals, most of my people will keep rocking with me. But you know what will happen is those few individuals who've been hating on you from time, but they're almost scared to say it. Those are the types of people who are always looking for a reason to flip on you, right? And that's why doing a brace of things, like making a post saying, I'm the new Tupac, or this is the best album to drop in Canada in 10 years. This album, I still ain't even dropped it yet. It's been 2 years. You know what I mean? But you do these things, and you can actually see what people's true intentions are of you. Which people, you know what I mean, sit around and act like they like you and fuck with you and rock with you, and you know what I mean, like they support you. Because in this industry, you got a lot of fair weather friends. You got people who ride the fence. They'll follow you on socials. They'll like a post every once in a while, but they don't actually ever show support. They don't ever actually comment, really like your shit, but like, then when they see you in person, they can play the fence and be like, yo, man, you've been killing it. You know what I mean? Like, but they don't actually fuck with you. And you can tell that those people don't have your best intentions. They want to do better than you, and they want to see your downfall. But they don't want to burn a bridge with you. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people in this game are like that. It's a lot. So I like posting a brace of shit once in a while because it weeds out the fucking losers. It's true. It weeds out the fucking fakes and snakes. You know what I mean? Because I can tell by how they react to that. That's why once in a while I like to post a comedy post too. Because that's how I can see the rappers who fuck with me, who don't actually fuck with me.
Content creation.
You know what I mean?
Content creation.
But, you know, we both bars rappers, but you only react to my posts when I post a joke. You never like a link, a video of anything else, and that's 90% of the content I post. You know what I mean? So I know you're jealous of everything I'm doing. You're letting me know through your actions. You know what I mean? I pay attention to the shit, bro. I have like a profile in my head of every person that's like in a competitive space with me
Yeah.
on social medias. And I know exactly how all these motherfuckers feel about me. And then when they hit me up and ask for favors, I just deal with them accordingly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, you don't really fuck with me. Yeah, it's 200 for a verse, homie. Oh yeah, I know this guy fucks with me. I know he's pure in intention. You know why I got this one on the arm? Like,
but I've been hearing similar stuff like what you're saying with other rappers. Because I watch like other content. I heard the young Sitch have a similar situation with another like a rapper like that. The same way.
His shit was Tony Ranks.
And there was someone else too. I think Tom McDonald.
Man, the Tom McDonald shit. It's funny you say that. So like, what Stitch is talking about is Tom McDonald before he blew up.
Yeah.
Was just like another local Canadian rapper who added everybody on their friends list and followed and unfollowed people on other platforms, and you know what I mean, like just tried to do anything they could, were eager, and did a lot of the wrong shit. And Stitch, it's funny what he talked about on there because he did the exact same thing. 1 second here.
That's we're sponsored by Brass
Knuckle Whiskey. You can knock your
anniversary of D2E.
Yeah, boy, you can knock your socks off.
Knock your socks off. We got to get into that.
We soon will.
So check this out. Where's the camera at? So what Stitch is talking about?
It's right here.
Tom McDonald was also guilty of doing the same thing with me. Tom McDonald was on my friends list. I guess since 2015. Hey, Kelly, I just released a full-length video for Fight for Fears yesterday. If you get a minute, give it a look. Shit, like, you know what I mean? Hi, Kelly. Hey, Kelly, smiley face.
It's a long time ago.
And I'll be honest, if you're a dude and you hit me with a smiley face, I'm probably not responding unless you are like you're above me.
That was automated. That was him writing that shit.
Well, it's copy and I'm sure he copy and pasted and just inserted the name differently, right?
The name though.
But that was Tom McDonald before he blew up and learned and moved to LA and learned how to do his shit. He was spamming my inbox.
Yeah.
March 3rd, no response. May 20th, no response. June 2nd, no response. October 4th,
Tom McDonald.
October 4th, October 5th. I'll check it out, homie. Thanks, Kelly. I really appreciate that. Worked damn hard on it, and I'm trying to make this video the biggest release yet. And you may have already shared it, but if you haven't, please do. The extra help means a lot to me. It's like, yo, bro, fuck off. No response. Yo, Kelly. Hey, Kelly, December 2. I'll check it, homie. Hope all is good. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it.
Oh, shit.
I hope that you know what I mean. December 3. Yo, I didn't even know I sent this to this guy. Hey man, I checked it out. Pretty dope. Not really my style. Video was cool though. You should send your songs to Breaking Records Radio when you drop them. Bro, people hit me in the inbox all the time. And they have for years. And honestly, that's what I do. I just ignore them. Like, I'll open it and I just leave it on red. Because, like, bro, I'm not like, I have a lot of things I'm doing. You want to send music to the radio show? Send it to a fucking radio show. Hit me up and say, how do I submit music to your show? You know what I do when I want to approach a media company that plays music? I don't fucking send my link. I hit up the individual who you're supposed to hit up, or the closest one you can hit up, and say, hey, man. Yeah, sure. It's like, if you don't mind a minute of your time, what's the proper way to submit music to your platform?
Yeah.
I would say first things first, before anything, if you're really serious about your music, you have to have an EPK.
EPK.
Just a little hidden gem there.
EPK.
Do you know what's funny? I didn't have an EPK, and then before this Method Man Redman thing, my boy's like, yo, I need your EPK ASAP. I'm like, dog, I haven't had one in like 5 years. I've been asked for one of those forever. He's like, yeah, I need it like ASAP. So I had to go on his website and pay. It took me like 2 hours to get it all set up, and I got it all nice with the white Tupac thing on there and everything. And you know, I'm like, fuck it. Now I have this dope ass EPK, and you know what? It cost me $10 a month. But you know what? Now I actually have this dope thing that's easily edible. It's there. I've had them like sent to me as videos and PDFs in the past, so then they represent a timestamp and you can't edit them. This one's like its own website. It's nice. I like it. And you just send it like the link to somebody and they click it, and it's like a whole dope little thing. So I'm like, you know what? I'll pay $10 a month for this, and I can send this out to things, and you know.
So let's get back to the white Tupac.
Before we do that, let's do a cheers with a Brass Whiskey. Is in?
Yeah, bless up. Brass Knuckle Whiskey, Canadian whiskey.
Salud. That's smooth.
Smooth, yeah.
Wow. Yo, that's really smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, when my pops gets here, we gotta.
Oh, for sure.
Gotta give him a shot at. He'll like that.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez. Yo, that was good.
Yeah.
That's really good, yo. You guys sponsoring that?
Yeah, man.
Jeez. All right. Well, salute to Brass Knuckle. Can you get that LCBO?
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
So.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Woo.
I might have,
Yeah.
I have to get my pops.
White Tupac. That guy.
Yeah, let's get down to that.
Where's that get from?
I don't even know where he's from, man. But yo, so my bad. Like when I get into stories, one thing is I like to explain in full detail.
Yo, this
Because I feel like
D2E.
that
This D2E.
Nothing gets overlooked or like you don't. For one, you don't leave people out, and for two, people don't misconstrue context. Because in the day of the internet, everything is context, right?
Yeah.
So I rather over-explain myself than under-explain.
That's how we do.
But so long story short, the song kind of started as a kind of like just like a way to trigger people online.
Yeah.
Like the whole idea was Cheza saying like you pissing people off with your confidence in your album. Imagine you told people you're the new Tupac.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's wild. And then I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Sure. Because I feel like pissing someone off today. Like let's see who I can piss off today and trigger with some, you know what I mean? Like we're talking. You can read people just by posting shit. And the thing is, you can never really tell who somebody is by the shit they post because they're only posting a certain version of themselves anyway, right? So you can never take a person on the value of the version that they present you on the internet. But what you can do is you can read people by how they react.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
That's how you learn people.
Speaking of reaction,
that's how you learn people.
Hold on a second. Speaking of reaction from the other night there, I was talking to your producer, right?
Which one? Were you talking about?
You're too tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about the recording of it, right?
Yep.
And I wanted to get back into that. I loved it. What you guys were talking about. That first, when you were recording it, you were recording like you're trying to be like Tupac.
Yeah.
Right. And then your man said what? He said, yo, like do the lyrics, but not being trying to imitate. Try to be you. You know what I mean? And yo, I really admired that because you don't have a yes man around you.
Yeah.
He could have just said, yeah, that's dope and all of that and go with it, right? But no, he said re-record that, right? You listened to it, didn't you? And then after you said, you're right, didn't you?
Yeah.
He was right.
Yeah.
Isn't it true?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I really,
very much.
I give his flowers to that because he could have just been an ass and said, yo, continue on with it.
Yeah, so salute to my man Too Tall. Because initially when I recorded it, I mean we're kind of skipping over here, right?
No, it's still the same thing we hear.
Yeah. But when I recorded it, I went in there, and the first time I went and recorded it was like, "They'll never take me alive." The words just repeat, almost to the degree like the Dave Chappelle. I heard the shit a long time ago.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But like, I'll tell you one thing. Like, I'm one of those guys. I'm like a jukebox, a karaoke machine, right? Like I just know lyrics, all tons of shit. And like memorizing music growing up, you'd always rap in their voice, right? Like so it'd be like Scarface, like you down and now, money, funny, you hustle and die. Like if I'm singing along to Scarface, I'm singing like that, right? If I'm singing along to DMX, be like, yeah, where my dogs at?
Yo, mind me asking, did you ever thought about doing comedy?
I have thought about it. But...
Oh no, real shit. Because you have the spunk. The thing is, why I'm saying that is because you know the hip hop culture, right?
Yeah.
Now, just out of a whim, imagine he used most of his content over hip hop and whatever, and he uses it with his comedy. How? No, I'm just something just to throw in.
No, I've thought about it because I mean, naturally, I'm kind of a funny. You know what I mean? Like I would
love to see you live on stage doing comedy.
I don't think I'm like overly funny. Like I know people whose wit is just impeccable. Like I'm not, but I'm a good smart ass. I'm a really good smart ass. And I'm like good. I'm animated. I can do impersonations.
Exactly.
But I don't know how to write comedy.
Wait a minute. You just said you know lyrics and stuff like that, right? So
I'm good at paradise. I do paradise.
Hold on a minute.
Like that Rice Hendricks dude who does like the my gun, like he like does like all those characters.
Yeah,
and,
but you see,
I can do that shit.
But you see how bars and stuff like now related to real life situations. You know how they put comedy and they mix it up. Yeah. Now you mix your comedy with hip hop.
Yeah.
it could be done.
No, I'm just putting a new idea.
Yeah. I mean,
because I can actually see you doing this.
the thing is, the thing that muddies the two things for me a little bit though, it's like as soon as you become active in any other world but the hip hop world as a hip hop artist, a lot of times you are not taken seriously anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why I mentioned comedy.
Yeah, I know. But like I've never seen that pair out too well. Like I'll give an example too, right? And I'm not a huge fan regardless, but like Lil Dicky actually can rap.
Mm-hmm.
But he's made so many comedy and dumb songs that people just to take him as a parodized artist. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, and I have funny songs. If you listen through my catalog, almost, I mean, not every album, but a lot of my albums have a song on them that's like comedic based. Like, but I've never marketed those singles for being scared of kind of getting categorized.
Can I say something, Sean? Correct me if I'm wrong. Hip hop is almost like the martial arts, right? There's different forms and all of that, right? And if you can master different forms of it, then you're a true master. You get what I'm saying? Like certain peoples are afraid to come out of their lane. You get what I mean? So if you have it, like, all right, for instance, Afro Man, that one single, it's funny, right? But yo, it's hilarious and it's still writing.
Well, that's what most people just know him of that one.
But
song.
the thing is, if you could flip it time to time, being creatively, you know what I'm saying? You're a true artist.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm trying to say. To be honest with you, I love comedic hip hop. I know, like to hear the story and all that. What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, I like that too. That's why I'm gonna ask because this White Tupac track is a storyline what you put through this track. So it's relating to yourself and your experiences with the influences from Tupac, right? And that's what it is. So it's not like some people are gonna think is it a gimmick and shit like that, but it's just more like a tribute type of thing.
It is. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to explain, man. It's layers. It's layers.
But the video's doing good.
Yeah.
How many? What's the numbers? Mind me asking on the video?
I think we're almost at 21, anyways.
Hey, and how many weeks?
It's just been over a month.
That's good.
Okay, so 4 weeks already.
That's good.
That's good.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yes.
It's been crazy, man. But yeah, so the song it's essentially a tribute, I guess. So hold on, I'm gonna tie everything together here because I just don't want anything to be left unturned. But so long story short, made a post with the Tupac thing. Thing's a joke, right? You know what I mean? I started playing into this joke a little bit.
Yeah.
After about a month or so, it's kind of like, yo, like this actual, like this kind of like this little, like, tongue-in-cheek thing that I've been posting has kind of been getting traction, right? And in his mentions, he's like, you got to figure out a way to put this into a song form. And I'm like, nah, man, that's corny. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way to do that. And he's like, nah, man, like, really? And I'm like, if I can think of an angle where it makes sense, then I will do it, right? Sorry, my girl keeps messaging.
No worries, man. No. In fact, you better make sure you answer.
She's on something right now. It's not important. But anyways, sorry, I've lost my focus.
No, you're talking about that.
But yeah, so so it's like, yo, is there a way to turn this into something, right? And so you start thinking about it, and that's kind of when like I realized how essential kind of like Tupac really was to, you know what I mean? Like, and, I wrestled with some ideas and stuff, and I started writing something, and I wasn't sold on it, but I'd left it, and as I started writing it, it became kind of like, it's like, yo, this actually, has potential to be, I have potential to make something dope with this, right? And I sat on it for a bit. Like we sat on it for a while. I wrote a bit of a song and just kind of left it, right? And then it came around like a year later, and I got a Facebook memory of when I made one of those first posts. Yeah. And and I sent it to Ennis. I'm like, yo, we could do that for he's like, yeah, man, you got to finish that song. I'm like, yo, let me go in there. Like, let me go back in there and see what was going on with that. And when I went back in and reread what I had and really thought of it, and it kind of sometimes things sound better on fresh ears, right?
Yeah.
And when I went back in, I was like, yo, actually, and I started to like put the piece together and think about it, and I thought about how integral really Tupac was to my hip hop experience, not just Pac as an artist. When I first went in, it was kind of like Pac was one of those big influences to me, right? And that was kind of my angle, and I didn't know where to go with it. When I went back in after leaving it for a while, for some time, reevaluated it and thought deeper about it. It was like, yo, Pac is the reason for my whole hip hop experience, and I was like, that is important. Like that, like if there was anything that's important, that is it. As far as like me and hip hop is concerned, right? Like there's no other artist that I can thank for introducing me to this culture, right? Like it's not even about his influence, and it is, right? And that's why the song is layered. You have the face value layer, which is Tupac died. I seen it on TV. His soul entered my body. Yeah. I became this white. You know what I mean? But all of that, right? That top layer, the kind of tongue-in-cheek story of the song, is a metaphor for how you feel like as a kid growing up. And like you're rapping along to your favorite rapper's songs in the mirror. And when you put that like bandana on to the front, looking in the mirror at 7 years old, rapping every word to a verse, for those 3 minutes, no one can tell you you're not that person. You know what I mean? Like you are in your imagination that rapper. I am 50 Cent in 2001 rapping. You know what I mean? One of them joints in the mirror. Like you know what I mean? Like that's how you feel at that moment as a kid. I know you guys are a little older, so the artists for you guys are going to be different rappers. You know, it might be Rap Kim for you. You looked in the mirror. It was like I am the awe. You know what I mean? But we all had those people we were influenced by as kids and we wanted to be like. So the face value of the Tupac joint, White Tupac, is exactly that. It's a tongue-in-cheek story about how I seen his music and his spirit enter my body, which really is kind of like a more entertaining way of conveying like I wanted to be like that, right? The second layer is how much Tupac meant to me growing up and like my life, which is also a face value layer, but that's where all the references come into play and all the other things, right? But the real deep third layer of the song that I think people might not totally catch is like me using Pac's references and everything. Like all of that is also just a metaphor for the whole song itself is about my relationship with hip hop. Like that's what the song is about. You know what I mean? And Tupac and his legacy and his influence on me is kind of like the scapegoat or the catalyst that I used to create an art piece about my love for hip hop. Yeah. You know what I mean? And how much hip hop means to me. Yeah. And that's why the song ends the way it does. I gotta thank Pac for introducing me to hip hop. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that's it. He is the one. He's the one. Yeah. So
and that would happen. Like people have songs dedicated to Tupac. Like some reference in there. They might not call it the White Tupac, but I swear I heard other like references to Tupac in songs too, like even if not titles too. So yeah, man, I hope to hear some more music coming from you soon. You say you're working on a new single.
Yeah. Sorry, just one sec here. This is
it's down to D2E. We're live anyways.
Oh, this
brought to you by the sponsor.
This thing ain't even been charging for me.
Brass Knuckle Whiskey. Yeah, man.
All right, turn this thing on.
Oh yeah, press the button.
Let me press this button.
Press the power button.
Okay.
No, not that button. Yeah, not that. Not the. Yeah, that button. Turn off the light, Chad.
There we go.
Turn off the light, man.
Turn off the light. Turn off the light. Oh yeah. Do you want like the soul talk?
Live.
Yo, man. I love overall, Maloney. Since the time I came across you, man, you have a love, the passion for hip hop.
I love it, man.
You know what I mean? Love it. And there's only a few them who I know like that. There's certain people who fell on hip hop.
Yeah.
Okay? But you actually live and learn and you do your research.
Yep. I love this
and
shit. And
you're like the whole package. It's very rare.
That's rare.
I'm just saying it's very rare.
That's what we need to build
on the real from D2E. We salute you, and you're an honorary member of the family of D2E.
Thank you.
You don't know, man.
Bless up, man. Trust me, because some people talk like we've been talking for the past half an hour, right? We're really for the culture as you see it. This is how I grew up.
Yeah.
sound,
Man,
studio.
I'm not gonna speak about what your setup is here because that's I don't know.
Yeah.
I know there's a lure to the mystique in all media, but as you were explaining as I got here, my pop soundproofed this place years ago. That just shows you grew up in this shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Before you ever thought of turning this space into a studio, Pops had it soundproofed years ago. He was, you know what I mean?
He was a sound man, so he had to
exactly.
do on the real, like he didn't want to disturb the neighbors and all them things there. So you know,
he's playing his own music.
He's playing the music, like loud, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. He once in a while does his thing.
When we're eating dinner, our table was shaking, man.
I'm telling you, everything's rumbling, bro. Rumbling.
Yeah, that's real though. That's real. You know what I mean? And like, it's funny growing up as far back as I remember. Like, music's always just been one of those things just played loudly in life. Like,
but that's how music's supposed to be played, not low.
No, and
what the hell?
It should be played loud at all times and
loud and proud.
And there's a place for music to be played everywhere all
the time.
Like there's music for every mood,
and it's a remedy.
But my parents didn't like hip hop, right? Like
well, wait a minute, but they like music, right?
They love music
as long as they love music.
So wait, tell me that your parents didn't like hip hop. So how you? Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a whole story in itself. But I mean, it's funny because my pops is gonna roll through here soon, and so you guys will meet him. But like, he's learned to appreciate hip hop over the years. That happened in my teens. But growing up, he was one of those rap as crap type of dudes. You know what I mean? So like, I think that into what you guys are saying, like how I studied this shit. Now I can tell you this.
Yeah.
I think the reason why, I think the reason why, like, I'm so into hip hop and stuff is because where I grew up and how I grew up, which this also ties in the white Tupac joint too, right? Like the white kid, that all your heroes are black, and you're like, like there was a point when I was a kid, and it's gonna sound crazy, I know, but like there was a point where like I was like, man, I wish I was black, man. You know what I mean? I know I'm the black.
There's no shame of that.
Out here, that probably sounds crazy because you're like. Look at that, like white privilege is a real thing, right? Like, why would anybody ever wish to, you know what I mean? But honestly, because all the artists and the people I looked up to and the people I connected with were all black, and I felt like I didn't fit in. And then where I grew up, all the people I grew up around, like they didn't understand black culture. Like I grew up in like my grade school, there was like one black kid. And salute to, I'm not gonna call him out. Salute to him. That's my guy. We just went out and, went out and had some drinks a couple weeks ago. So salute to him, man. He's doing good. He's actually a popular YouTuber.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not gonna air him out like that because he can tell his own past. But he's good people, man. But so like all the kids I grew up around, like. They didn't understand hip hop and shit. Yeah. I was like the one kid who kind of like was into it. My friend Caitlin got me into watching BT. I didn't even know that was a real thing until grade 4 one day. She's like, "You ever watch 106 in Park?" I'm like, "What's that?" She's like, "You'll love it. Come over." And I come over. I didn't get Channel 40.
And that's a real friend because they know what you're into.
And she was a wrestling girl, right? But she liked hip hop but kept it on the low. She didn't wear it on her sleeve.
No, but she liked hip hop.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like a closet hip hopper. Like that's what it was like. That's
what's going on.
Like you didn't
see what you told me. Was she white?
Yeah.
This is
she's a popular local wrestler right now. So salute to her. Hip hop inspires minds.
Exactly.
Right? Sorry, what were you saying?
No, realness, with the females too, like white females who like hip hop, some of them had to keep it undercover.
Yeah.
Make it mom and dad know that you like hip hop.
That's crazy. It's crazy what the 90s were like.
It makes me think of CB4.
Yeah.
From Roseanne. You ever watch Roseanne? There's an episode on that. The daughters like hip hop.
Yeah. And they hide it.
And they wanted to have a house party, and the father and mother.
But you know what? Overall, what I respect about you, Maloney, is that you took the time to actually not only loved it, you actually took the time to research, go more in depth about it from the passion.
Well, and it all connects, right? And I think that's I think ultimately where this lands is that growing up the way that I did and where I did and at the time that I did, I felt like because this thing was so misunderstood by people, I had to understand every reason why it was great, so no one can tell me rap is crap or that shit takes no talent.
Yeah.
I don't even play instruments. You know how many times I've heard all that fucking shit?
I had
So
one
I had a
situation like
debate and an argument and a fucking case in point to
Wow.
fight tooth and nail for everybody who tried to tell me why rap was not great. And but to be able to do that, I had to understand it and learn it and know everything about it, know its roots, where it came from. And I'll be honest, man, I knew what I knew. And even before the internet, for like a kid who grew up where I did with what I had access to, like I used to come to Toronto to buy CDs, right? Like I couldn't. The stores where I grew up, you could only get so much hip hop.
Maloney, I had a situation even being from up here, like that in my I think I was in my grade 8 class.
Yeah.
My teacher is a male teacher. The first time I ever had a male teacher.
Yeah.
He found shit when I wrote, like, I was right, curse words. And then there's this, like, he had an assistant teacher in there. She liked my shit. He said, this is crap. Like, same thing what he said, rap is crap.
Yeah.
He's saying, what is this, what you're saying? But he made the lady explain it to me. He didn't come to me like this. And it's the exact same thing. He said, rap is crap.
Yeah.
And I think he tried to talk to my pops one time.
See, and that's the thing, man. Like a lot of people, a lot of white middle-aged people in the 90s did not
He was a rocker too.
Try to, and there a lot of them were rockers. And that like where I grew up, Brantford. Like I'll tell you one thing, man. Brantford, if there's especially it's prior generations. If there's one thing it's known for, it's teenage pregnancy, car robberies, a lot of drugs, a lot of drinking, and rock music.
Where's that again?
Rock music. Brantford. It's like 20 minutes outside Hamilton.
You just getting me started. I don't think this guy just getting me. The stereotype of those things in the main city.
Yeah.
It's not. It's the reverse.
It is.
Because it's the small cities will have all the stereotypes of like
the big city.
The big city.
Yeah. Was it and so this is what I used to say, right? So if you look at a city, right?
Yeah.
And a city has its ghettos.
Yeah.
Well, if you were to look economically at the province, and instead of an area of the city being the ghetto, but a certain town or township or city being a ghetto, Brantford would have been the ghetto of Ontario for a large portion of my life growing up.
Yeah.
It had no opportunity. The highest you could make living there, if you had the best job possible in the city is probably not even $1 million. You know what I mean? Like aside from maybe maybe a couple of independent contractors or something or whatever, but like it's a city of no opportunity.
Yeah, I know.
But the people who have money in Brantford, a lot of them really acquired it illegally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like literally, we got bike gangs, we got, but it has a polished look to it. Like it looks like,
man, it could look nice.
It looks like, man, it reminds me of Scarborough a lot, actually.
Scarborough, yeah.
They kind of like visually look kind of the same in certain
That's what
areas.
I mean. The stereotype that those outskirt places would be actually like to us better.
Yeah.
Like even back in the days growing up here.
Yeah.
Is actually better.
Yeah.
Way better. So, you know what I mean?
Do you know what you have here in the city? Like, yes, like in the city, like you get a ghetto in the city, and I think what the difference is why, because people don't look at things economically, they look at visually.
It's more
so in the city, the ghetto is a small contrived area where tons of people are forced to live, opposed to a small town
where you
ghetto
don't have to live
is
there.
where that same amount of people live out but sprawled out, but with the same economic disparity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not the same physical condition disparity.
No.
Like in the inner city, a ghetto economically would be like 1-2 bedroom apartment. You know what I mean? Like a bunch of people crammed in one building, one area because of the population. But if you look economically, as far as like statistics go, like a ghetto to a province is going to be like a small ass town that has no opportunity, has no
that's what really
no
is.
Development, no anything. It's just retail to support retail.
There's a lot of places like that in Canada.
Yeah, exactly, a ton of them. And it's funny because it's like a different kind of ghetto, right? And that's kind of like what white trash is. It's kind of like white trash is, you know what I mean? Like, city ghettos opposed to like,
I know,
you know what I mean? Like neighborhood ghettos. But like, I mean, really, it's like, everything's economics, everything's based on numbers, and it's funny, but because Brantford now is a different place.
Yeah.
Like Now to get a house in Brantford, it actually costs you like $400,000.
Expensive.
But when I was growing up, man, like there was a point where like a house you could get a house in Brantford for like $40,000. You know what I mean? Like there was a point like bro, like there are like house prices once upon a time were
just
low.
Say, what do you say? Like maybe the 90s.
Yeah. Things like prices were low back there. Like nobody wanted to move there, right? But what happened is all the other cities around Toronto filled up and prices went through the roof, right? Because everybody moved there. So then Brantford started slowly get more expensive because that was the next spot to move. We're the next on the line, right? Like as you start to go further towards London, and then London has its own infrastructure, so even the cost of living there is like it's a little more expensive. But once you start to go a little further, you get to your like Windsors, your Sarnia, and like all these places are cheap as fuck. Owen Sound, like they're the only places around here you can buy cheap housing anymore because everything else that's off those highway lines and everything has been filling up. But you know, Brantford is slowly changing. But yeah, when I grew up, it was a place where you know, it was very much stuck in its ways. Anybody who was not part of the way that it is was like it was just a reason why you would get picked on. I got picked on my whole fucking life. You know what I mean? So it's like hip hop was always that thing that like I resonate with because you know though I'm not getting picked on for the same reasons, I'm not comparing my struggle. It's like there was a voice of oppressed people that like people who didn't fit into the construct. Like that was kind of the mind state of a lot of hip hop artists. You know what I mean? Like I come from this place where we're misunderstood and we don't fit in with the social construct of what you want us to be. You know what I mean? And that there was that attitude about hip hop that resonated with me. And you know, and having to defend it my whole life, I made sure I did the research and knew every point. So my dad say rap scrap and be like, yeah, tell me one rock artist that goes, you know, I was a fiend before I became a teen. I mounted microphones instead of cones of ice cream, music orientated. So when hip hop was originated, it fit like, yo, who's rapping like that though?
You know what?
You know what I mean? Who's writing like that in rock music?
You know what? Too, it's a generational thing too. Because my pops like he respects hip hop, but he would say he would criticize certain music of the hip hop. Like this one doesn't sound too good. Like you know what I mean? Like but he has more like because he listens reggae's in the same atmosphere of hip hop.
Well, where do you think hip hop came from?
So you're listening to what we're listening to, but then some of the stuff is like he likes the beat, but maybe not the lyrics.
He
listened to the lyrics.
Right.
And if someone has maybe all right lyrics, you probably take that guy in a little bit more.
So I guess your dad probably liked KRS, right?
Yeah, he probably listen to KRS-One, like guys like that. But if he's hearing like someone with all this cursing more than rapping, he's gonna like, but maybe the beat sounds good.
Yeah. And that's the thing, man. And that's the beautiful thing about hip hop, man. And that's the way it transcends generations.
My pops will say he likes certain rock too, and he says some rock is shit too.
Yeah.
My pops kills rock. He says like some of the Stone. what do they call Stone?
Rolling Stones.
Stone is shit.
Well, I mean, they you know, one thing I think about the Rolling Stones, like, yeah, they kind of appropriated black music, but they always showed love. Like they were not like as to where like Led Zeppelin, I feel like they literally stole like a Muddy Waters song and named it the Lemon Song and like tried to like purpose it as their own. And it wasn't until like Muddy Waters' estate sued them finally, like 30 years later, won a case or some shit. They had to change the name. But like dudes like the Rolling Stones, like they always admired and publicly admired and showed love to the people who influenced them, like the Muddy Waters and shit. Like there's an old video my dad and my mom used to always watch. They love it. It's on YouTube. And you can see it. And it's Muddy Waters doing like a show in like the 70s or the 80s, right? And like in a modest like bar establishment.
Yeah.
And the Rolling Stones, height of their career, come rolling in. And they're like, yo. And they're like, they get a little table at the front. They're sitting in there with you know what I mean, 100, you know, probably 150 capacity maximum place. And then like Muddy's like, hey, you boys gonna get up on stage? They come up there, man, and they fucking just perform on like improv. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't a planned show. Like they just showed up. They were in the city and they went to go see their favorite artist, Muddy Waters. And Muddy Waters invited them on stage, and they got Mick Jagger and Buddy up there, and Keith Richards jammed on this little tiny fucking stage, just fucking jamming together. Like it's a beautiful thing. Like these guys love that, you know what I mean? And you know, and I think it's important to always understand that because like if I had to like, I know there are white artists who steal and appropriate black music, but I think the Rolling Stones, if they're like me, you know what I mean? They did their research. They knew what they loved. Like, you know what I mean? They showed love. You know what I mean? They weren't attempting to appropriate it. You know what I mean? They were just trying to do what they loved. You know what I mean? At least if I had to have an opinion on it. I've never read the biographies.
So,
shit,
yo, what's next for Maloney? Like, you done dropped the White Tupac. Yeah, you had your album in plan for over
in fact, we're playing it right now. Right. You know what I mean? What inspired you to do how to do the video here?
You know, everything. Yeah, I mean, everything is everything. I mean, yeah, you got.
Yeah, I'll pass you that.
Yeah,
all right, my man.
Oh no, I'll stay right there.
Hey,
yeah.
So with the White Tupac joint, I mean, yeah, it's just still charging. Everything's been everything. Oh, there we go. Finally, I think I just had to, anyways. But yeah, everything's kind of everything, man. Like the whole joint, everything. Like the inspiration, it was self-discovery, right? Once I realized that my whole relationship with hip hop was based off my introduction to Tupac, and that's how everything came to be. That song became something I was able to write. At a certain point, I didn't like the direction. I didn't like the purpose of it. And I was like, I can't create art like that. Like art has to mean something and come from the heart and be something that I can feel integrity behind, right? So it took me to let go of the song for a year and come back to it. And when I realized how important really not Tupac as an artist was to just my love of music, but how important Tupac was to my whole experience of hip hop, this thing that has been here for my whole life. You know what I mean? Like when nobody was there, I had hip hop. You know what I mean? Like when I was just in my weakest moments, hip hop saved me. You know what I mean? So that's when I finally it became a road of self-discovery from then. And that's when the song really started to take form and shape. And that's when it became something that was important and that I knew I was able to do something with. You know what I mean? Then from there, it took a few more months to write. So the writing process of the song was like a year in itself. Then producing it, because I wrote the song originally just to the paying beat, but I had to reproduce it, right?
Yeah.
So I went and recorded it, and it's funny because Nate Too Tall, who you met the other night, he has a version of his phone of the original recording on just the Tupac beat before I reproduced it. Okay. It's crazy hearing it on that.
Really?
Yeah. But so I recorded it to a YouTube rip of the paying beat. And then I took it home and then I reproduced the pain beat my own way from scratch with the new break and stuff and introduced all the other samples and stuff into it. It took me about 2 months to do that because I didn't want to work on it every day. It was just like when you're inspired, right? A couple hours each time you're inspired, but don't fucking sit there and make it. Sometimes you get, what do you call it? Like your ear gets overworked when you hear the same thing over and over again. You need to distance yourself sometimes to hear the nuances, right? So it took me about 2 months to produce it, and then I sent it to Innis. I recorded twice in the studio with Nate, and like you said earlier, bro, he the first time I went in, I tried to do it in the Tupac voice. He's like, "Nah, man." He's like, "Do it in your Tupac voice." I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean?" He's like, "Don't try to imitate Pac, but give that energy that you're trying to give through using Pac's voice with your voice." I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean, bro?" You know what I mean? Because when we're talking imitating and stuff, right? Always been okay to imitate and shit like that. Yeah. So the first recording was dead. I went in there the second time and I did the same shit again. And he's like, "Bro, no, stop doing it in the Tupac voice. You'll never ever take me alive." He's like, "Bro, say it in your voice, but with that energy." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "They'll never take me alive." He's like, "Yes." Get that same energy Pac's giving, but quit trying to mimic his like tone. And when he finally got to like where, and I was fighting tooth and nail, like, "No, I wrote the song. I hear it like this." And he's like, "No, I'm telling you." So shout out to my man Too Tall, my man Nathan.
Too Tall.
It's because I think that gave it that authentic energy, right? Otherwise, it would have came off as a parody of itself, no matter how well it was written. So and like you said, it's good not to have yes man ready.
The visuals put together good. Like
so that's the recording process. Took Innis about 2 months. Sorry, I know I keep going back, but I just want to go through the whole thing because you guys have asked about things, and then I get off topic and ramble.
Oh, so I'm down to it here, man.
I'm covering. You asked about the video, so I'm just trying to cover the whole story to the video now. So that's how that all goes. Innis mixes and masters it. It probably takes him about 5 months because he's a perfectionist like me, and he just you know what I mean. So in that time, I ended up getting the video. Shout out to my man Tiller. We planned it. It took us about, off and on, not like every day, but like over a course of a month, we were able to plan it all and locking kind of what we're looking for, and then, bro, actually getting the shit, like getting the schoolroom, getting the actors, like everything. It came together pretty like effortlessly, but it actually was a lot of work too, like a lot of stress.
Yeah.
And like, yo, is this gonna work out? What's gonna, and having a backup plan, right? Because if anybody shoots videos, they know like day of, always somebody bails. Almost always, right? And then whatever you had that person booked for, now you have to either reroute the video or find a stand-in. So I not only did we have the video kind of like we had the video treatment done, but I had like a plan B treatment and a plan C treatment in the event that somebody couldn't come through, like we couldn't get the classroom, or like this person couldn't show or something, right? So because you have all these mechanical pieces, so you're like, I need a black backup plan. So I literally had about like 3 different storyboarded versions, you know what I mean? One main and then like 2 backup versions. But honestly, it was the only video I've ever shot where everybody showed up day of, no excuses, no ifs, ands, and buts. Everyone was on time, not an issue. Literally, everything went fucking flawlessly that day, bro. Honestly, flawlessly.
That will show the success through the hard work, what you put into it. I believe this is a reintroduction to the people who may not know who you are, but now they're going to know who you are. And the people who know who you are, now they're going to really know who you are because it's quality work. There's not too much videos right now, straight up. They don't have no storylines. Straight up, I can say no storylines. This is an example. If you want it to be internationally people to view, you gotta put work. It's like a movie. It's a production.
True.
You spending money to put whatever you're doing to put into a visual. Do that. But yo, Maloney, much respect for coming through the D2E headquarters.
Definitely, man. But before we go, man, let them know where they can find you on all digital platforms, brother.
They can find me MLNY416 on socials. Oh, yo, my pops is here too. I'm gonna call him real quick. You guys cool if he comes in and does a shot of this?
Yeah. Of course.
Hey, what's up? I'm just finishing the interview, but come up. You see the garage? Yeah, just come up to the side of the garage. He's gonna let you.
Yeah, man. But yeah, like
all right. We got a shot of Canadian whiskey. You gotta try.
Yeah, done. No. But yo, before we go, give Down to Earth Podcast a nice shout out, man.
Of course. MLNY416 on all social platforms, on Spotify, all that good stuff. It's MLNY. On YouTube, it's Breaking Records Radio. That's WRECKORDS. How we spell records all day. Stay blessed. And we went to Down to Earth Podcast, baby. Yo, Sean Myrie, my man Rastafari Samurai. I fucking love y'all, man. Down to Earth Podcast all
and
day.
we end it up like this. This is the Rastafari Samurai, never leaving you dry in your eye. I prove this message nationwide. You don't know. We are ending the show.
I was telling them about how growing up you used to say rap is crap.
Hey, I never